What's going on, people? Welcome to Live Palace News. We'll be discussing all the latest reports surrounding Palace. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Steve Parish mentioning Adi Hutter rumours. He actually commented on them. We're going to go through them. We're going to go through that bit of shock on Twitter that happened earlier on today. And then we also got on the agenda former, or you can say current Tottenham fullback, linked with Palace right back. We'll talk about that, and also we'll wrap up the show with more managerial report. As always, if you do enjoy the show, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to not miss out on future Palace content, and send in your questions throughout the show. So let's start off with the Adi Hutter. He's been the main man this week. He's taken over Palace News. There's been lots for Adi Hutter rumours. We came on here yesterday, me and T, talking about the reports that's been coming over from Austria. And funny enough, there were actually reports today that we was going to talk about Adi Hutter, because there's more reports coming out from Austria suggesting that he was willing, or he's going to travel to England next week, so the following week, and maybe hold talks with a few clubs. But then Steve Parish comes out and just says, what on earth is going on? And I'm going to show you guys what exactly he said, because he came out on Twitter and he made comments on the report. I believe it was from The Sun, but it's just about Adi Hutter. So let's put this up on the screen right now. As you guys can see here, Steve Parish, about 2 hours ago, he tweeted the following. He said, it's the absolute certainty that this stuff is written with that's kind of mind-boggling. I'm sure he's a good bloke and all that, but I've never met him, let alone about to employ him. I do think these things need calling out every now and then. So, Steve Parish has come out and basically said, no, there's nothing about Adi Hutter based on this report by the Sun, which I haven't even opened myself. I haven't looked at that. I was looking at the Austrian reports today. But look, interesting. Look, I've said this before, and I'll say it many times. The point of Palace News, even yesterday, and people said, not everything's going to happen. I've always said it. It's about covering the latest stories regarding Palace. There's going to be a lot of stories. Of course, some of them are going to be true. Some of them may be false. At the end of it, like Steve Parish saying with Adi Hutter, but I think it makes it very interesting. I mean, then what on earth? Who is putting out these stories over in Austria? What is their agenda? Is it his agent? Because me and T spoke about it yesterday. We spoke about whether his agent is trying to push this move forward. Maybe he's been linked with other clubs, and maybe is trying to attract other clubs to step up to the plate. But Steve Parish has basically said no, that's not the case. And if it's not Adi Hutter, then it's a question of, are we back to like square one? Would you say? Because with Adi Hutter, we were getting kind of excited about whether there's something going on behind the scenes, whether there could be an announcement. Because the reports yesterday were only just saying that Adi Hutter is on the verge of signing for Palace, but the guy that runs Palace that literally said, no, I haven't even talked to him. So it's all a bit confusing, but let us know what you guys think in the comment section as well about the Adi Hutter rumor. Steve Parish is saying, no, I haven't spoke to him. I'm not about to employ him, so the reports ain't true. But what do you make of it all? Because I'm going to talk about Adi Hutter as well, because I've got one or two concerns, in all honesty, about the potential move. But yeah, Colin says, not sure how true Parish so-called statement is, as some words don't sound like him. Also, lots of reports still tonight on news about Hutter still joining. Exactly. So when I was preparing for the show, just looking through like what's being said about Palace, I saw it today, even over in Austria, before this tweet by Steve Parish. There were reports, as I mentioned just at the start of the show, that Adi Hutter was potentially on his way to the UK to have talks with not just Palace, but potentially other Premier League clubs as well, because Leicester, I believe, are also interested in Hutter. But, I mean, Steve Parish then afterwards goes and tweets this out. So, is he actually traveling? If he's traveling, is it a case of he's traveling for Leicester? Maybe that all adds up now. Maybe his agent or whoever it is in Hutter's camp is trying to use Palace as like a leverage, as a leverage to Leicester that we need to get things done now, or he might go to Palace. Whereas in fact that's not the truth. So maybe that's the whole situation just boiled down like that. Yesterday Hutter was on the verge of joining Palace. Now apparently we're not willing to speak to him, or God knows what's going to happen with him, because he's not on Steve Parish's radar right now. So yeah, it's interesting. Former, he left Spurs permanently. Yeah, he's out. Well, we're going to talk about that anyways, but I believe he's out on loan. His contract's going to be out, so it depends on how you look at it. I'm supposed to be attending Palace versus Wolves game Wednesday. That's going to be a massive game. We're going to have the build up to that. Heard Leicester and West Ham could be linked to him. Heard he might be talking to a couple clubs in the Premier League. Yeah, I saw that too. In the reports, and these reports were coming over out in Austria. So there's definitely something going on Hunter's camp. If Parish is saying I haven't spoke to him, I'm going to believe Parish. Like, why would the guy come out and say literally rubbish a report for no reason? He must be speaking the truth. And then it goes down to the theory of why has this been going on in the first place about, Adi Hutter to Palace. Why? It's not the fact that we were talking to him, it's the fact that these reports were coming out yesterday saying that he was on the verge of joining Palace. So it raises a lot of questions, and raises a question on like who exactly is trying to get what out of Crystal Palace or for Adi Hutter. He was at the City versus Munich game and supposed to be back in next week. So I believe you saw the same report as well. But with Adi Hutter, that was quite interesting. But as always, if you guys enjoy the show, make sure to hit the like button. There's still a few more stuff to talk about, transfer rumors and managerial talk. Unless Steve Parish comes out and says that's rubbish as well. But there's a manager that we've been linked with for quite a while, and once again, we've been linked with him once again. So we're going to be talking about that. But what do you guys think about this whole, past 2 days about Hutter being on the verge of joining, based on reports, and Steve Parish saying no? Like, what do you make of that whole situation? Because there's different ways of looking about it. But look, there is transfer rumors, and I'm going to move on to that next as well. Today's show is not going to be too long. For just jump on to get everything covered that's been said today. And the second bit of story is on Matt Doherty. I'm laughing because, as you can tell, I'm not a massive fan of this. Matt Doherty is set to return to the Premier League this summer after an unsuccessful spell at Atletico Madrid, and that is according to 90 Minutes. 90 Minutes also understands that the wing-back is not going to sign a new contract at his club once his 6-month deal runs out, and is now expected to sign for a Premier League club. Sources have confirmed that Crystal Palace, his ex-employees Wolves, Burnley and Sheffield United are all interested. Someone please wake me up and tell me this is a lie. Look, we've been linked with we need a right back. We all know we need a right back. We've been linked with a few right backs as well. But how on earth are we going from Wan-Bissaka to Sacha Bowie to Matt Doherty? Matt Doherty is 31 years old, and there are huge flaws to his game that I'm not keen about. And I guess it depends on the manager. First and foremost, can he play with 4 at the back? I don't think so. He hasn't proven that he can play with 4 at the back. He's more of a 5 at the back, wing back situation. And also, he's like 31 years old. I mean, it doesn't fit what we're trying to do as a football club in terms of, player age requirement when we're trying to sign youth players. He also doesn't seem like an exciting signing. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but there's nothing exciting about signing Matt Doherty. Maybe as like a backup option if Joe Wood and Nathaniel Klein leaves. But then again, I'm expecting Doherty to get good amount of wages as well. I feel like Klein or Joe Wood will be cheaper second choice options than Matt Doherty. So if it's a case of signing Matt Doherty literally, as a permanent fullback, then that'll show my fears. That'll show my fears coming to light about going with the cheaper option. Just please, of course, I'm not saying this has happened, and it probably won't happen, but let's just be realistic. Matt Doherty is not what we need. That's what I think anyways. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Would you be happy with Doherty? Some of you maybe. For me, Doherty, if he comes in as a second choice right back, then fair enough. But then again, I still feel like that would be sensible business. In all honesty, because why would we pay that high wages or good enough wages to a player to be second choice right back when we got Nathaniel Klein and Joe Wood that could do that job? No thanks. He's played like 12 minutes of football since Atletico. I reckon Wan-Bissaka won't go Wolves, will come back to us, and Doherty will go to Wolves. Exactly, I'll be happy with that. So out of all the names that's been mentioned about right backs, so far we've heard Wan-Bissaka for a few months. We've heard of Sacha Bowie. So clearly there must be something in those players that we're linked with. And Doherty is the first one that's come out. In honesty, we spoke about this yesterday. Doherty would be at the bottom of that list. Even though we don't know much about Sacha Bowie, I'll rather take the gamble of Sacha Bowie than go for Matt Doherty. Sacha Bowie is still young, still got room for improvement. Wan-Bissaka, we know what he can do defensively. We know what he can do in terms of going forward as well. We know his limits to his game, and we know that he's got potential to improve his game still. He's not that old. Wan-Bissaka is not like he's in his 30s, so he's still got room for improvement. And those names suit Palace more. It suits Palace more in terms of the profile, in terms of trying to build a younger squad, in terms of Wan-Bissaka and Sacha Bowie. And it suits more in terms of even talent, because Sacha Bowie is meant to be regarded as a fullback, as a right back who can attack as well as defend. And Wan-Bissaka, we know that he can maybe not be as good going forward, but I feel like that's a myth as well nowadays. I don't think Wan-Bissaka is horrible going forward, but he's not great, but he's not horrible as well. I feel like he's decent going forward. Whereas we know he's also solid defensively. So Wan-Bissaka and Sacha Bowie just take the spot over any day of the week. Any day of the week over Matt Doherty. For me, anyways. More rumors than anything on him. Exactly. Also read that a couple clubs are looking for a loan move to Ademola. Yeah, there's going to be a few youth players, of course, that's not going to step up to the first team. And that's why the preseason, we spoke about many times on here, that's why the preseason is massive. Preseason is massive, not just for these players' future sake, but also for the development sake. What happens with some of these names that are performing well at lower league level? Look, Ademola, for example, a left-back situation, talking about backup to Tyrick Mitchell. He's actually playing decent now at the youth level. He was, he had a rough start to the year, but he's slowly coming back into it and he's looking decent. So, for example, if the next manager does rate him, but it all comes down to preseason, because right now it's hard to say what's going to happen about loan moves and this, because clubs could be looking at loan moves, clubs could be looking at permanent moves, but what do we want to do as a football club? How do we rate these players? And right now it's hard to say anything about it because we don't know who the next manager is. How can we talk about a player going out on loan if we don't know who's going to be in charge of those players? Danish fella, 12 mil. I don't know what you talk about, Luke. If you can let me know, that'd be much appreciated. Henry says Matt Doherty is not that bad, D, but yeah, I'd rather a young player who's had more game time. I'd love to push Leicester's right back if they go down, Castagna and Marte, but I doubt it. I just don't rate that Matt Doherty, Henry. I'll be honest, I just don't rate him. I feel like, especially, well, it depends on the manager, right? Because if it was Adi Hutter, I guess Doherty rumors make more sense because he likes to play 3 at the back, 5 at the back, however you want to see it. And the wing backs, we desperately need a new right back, right wing back. You can make that argument, and he would fit that system more. But then again, if the Adi Hutter's rumors ain't true, and that's what Steve Parish is saying, then Matt Doherty in the back 4. I'm sorry, but I think he's not good. Simple as. I don't think Doherty's good in the back 4. He might be decent in the back 3, but in the back 4, that's a different ball game. And I just don't think he's at the levels. And plus, he's 31 years old as well. I feel like I wouldn't be happy with that move. If it takes us about 3 years, then it takes us about 3 years to go get, Wan-Bissaka replacement, and that replacement is going to be Matt Doherty. I just feel like that would be absolutely ridiculous. But once again, look, I have to say, he is nothing confirmed. But I'm just saying, like, if that was the case, I'll be very annoyed. But I doubt that would be the case because that would be just beyond ridiculous from Palace if it was to happen. Max Aarons, says Gareth. See, Max Aarons is a player that's been linked with us in the past as well. And he's been linked with move to top clubs for years. Like, Max Aarons is only 23 years old, so the age side of things fits into Palace's profile. But he seemed like he's been about for years. And the problem with Aarons is, I've said this before, you want to find a balance between, with a right back that can attack as well as defend. With Max Aarons, I feel like his defensive capabilities are just so weak that I wouldn't want to go there. But then again, I can imagine Max Aarons and Elise overlapping down the right-hand side. That would be chaos for defenders to defend against. But then again, when teams are attacking us, I just don't have the confidence in Aaron's defensive abilities. And that's why it's not just like he's an okay defender. I don't know. I haven't seen anything from his defensive game, but his attacking game is absolutely brilliant. Like, he's weak in the air. He can be easy targeting there. I know he's only a right back, but if teams want to loft it there, he's short. He's not physically that big, and also tackles, interceptions, they're bad, but they're nothing convincing. I just feel like his defensive game is too much of a liability for us for me anyway, to want Max Aarons. I feel like we could do a bit better in that regards. But right now, it seems like Sacha Bowie and Wan-Bissaka. If we're combining, if we're talking about potential, what I feel like could potentially happen, if we're talking about, start of all these Palace news, we've spoke about Wan-Bissaka quite a bit. We spoke about also Sacha Bowie quite a bit as well. So I feel like right now, if I had to take a wild guess who the club are going for, I feel like those 2 names would be on the top of my list. But potentially they're looking at other players as well. But then again, hopefully it's not Matt Doherty. Let's just say that. Kyle Walker-Peters. Yeah, we spoke about Walker-Peters after Southampton. We recorded the Palace news the day after that. Once again, I feel like he's brilliant going forward, and I'll probably take Kyle Walker-Peters over Max Aarons. Let's just say that I'll take Kyle Walker-Peters over Max Aarons. He's 26 years old, so it's not that old as well. Very good on the ball. So he offers, and also is versatile as well. He can play left back and right back, which probably helps us in that situation. But then again, yeah, I would rather have someone that's a bit better defensively as well. Kyle Walker-Peters, Max Aarons, they kind of fall into the same bracket for me. But then again, this is the thing. If these players moved on to Palace, for example, we mentioned Max Aarons, Kyle Walker-Peters, and all of these names, there could also be that chance that they do improve defensively naturally because of the players around them. So it's hard to say yes or no. But right now, from what I've seen with how they're doing at their current club, I would go for the better options. I'd rather have better options. But then again, Max Aarons and Walker-Peters are not bad options. And at Palace, they can even improve defensively, as I just mentioned, because we've got better defenders around us. We've got better team. There's Southampton. We've got better team. Then Norwich as well. So, naturally, there should be less liability in terms of Max Aarons and Walker-Peters because others will be able to help them out. So potentially, Richards at right back is an option. Richards at right back. I thought it was an option. But clearly it's not because Vieira didn't try him. Well, ever since players came back from injuries and that, Richard just dropped back to the bench, and then Hodgson's not trying him as well. So Richards, realistically, as a fan base, I feel like we think that Richards can play there, and I do think he can play there in the short term. But still, in the long term, I have to admit, Richards is not an option for me at right back because he's more of a centre back than a right back. But then again, he's very good defensively to be an option in the short term. But then again, that short term option is done. We've got 7 games remaining, so it's about looking at the long term future. We just have to replace Wan-Bissaka in the upcoming summer. There's no ifs and buts. We just have to replace him. And Richards for me isn't a Wan-Bissaka replacement. Let's just say that. Get me Bowie, says AJ. Get me Bowie. We'll see with the Bowie rumors. There's been quite a few, but of course in the summer we'll probably amp up quite a bit. But look, let's move on to the final bit of news, and then we'll go through the suggestions. There's like thousands of suggestions of players that's been mentioned and thrown in my way. But if you're enjoying the show, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, people. It takes a second of your time and helps us out massively. And let's move on to the final bit of rumor, and that is on a manager. Talking back to managers. So according to the Evening Standard, Crystal Palace and West Ham could go head-to-head for Lille boss Paulo Fonseca this summer. The London rivals are each considering managerial changes at the end of the season, and Fonseca has been identified as a contender by both. We spoke about Fonseca in the past, and there's been question marks from me about his commitment levels, and I'll bring it up in just a second. And the main issue for me is how long he stays at clubs. That's the main issue for me. How long he stays at clubs, and we can go and look at it right now. I can bring it up on the screen. He just, for one reason or another, I don't know what exactly he is. Maybe I have to look into it a bit more. In terms of age side, he's still 50 years old. He's fairly young for a manager. The type of football that he plays is positive. Tottenham were after him as well. He's managed at the top level. He's currently at Lille. He's managing Roma, Shakhtar Donetsk, and he's done a fairly decent job there. But there's of course there's no perfect manager out there. With Adi Hutter, as I said, the biggest concern for me is it rigid in the system? That was a big concern we were talking about yesterday. Does he like to play 5 at the back, but is able to switch it up, or is it a case of 3 or 5 at the back consistently? That's my concern with managers. For example, at Conte, we saw at Tottenham, like he just simply didn't change his system. And managers like that, I'm against. I'm just against them because you have to be able to adapt in a modern game. You can't keep putting the same system because over time teams are going to figure it out and you have to adapt. So I don't know if Adi Hutter consistently played 3 or 5 at the back, but that was one question mark. Well, Paulo Fonseca, another manager that we've been linked with, when looking into it, there's nothing bad about his tactics or anything like that. But my biggest concern, and we can even bring it up right now on Wiki. I'm going to show you guys on the screen. Currently, let me just present it up and share the screen so you guys can see it as well on his Wiki. This is my slight concern. This bottom right hand section, very good experience. Don't get me wrong. He's been managing since what 2007. So he's had, you know, vast of experience of managing at the top level. But this, I don't know if you guys can see it highlighted. This just doesn't sit right with me. 2011, 2012, one club. 2012, 2013, another club. 2013, 14, another club. 2014, 15, another club. 15, 16, another club. Literally every season, different club. Shakhtar Donetsk, he stayed there for like 3 years. Roma, he stayed there for 2 years. I mean, in his managerial career, I guess it's hard nowadays for managers to stay at a certain club for long periods of time. But he's at Lille, and he's been linked with Palace as well. So with Lille, it could be another just a single season as well. And that's my slight concern, because with the next step of manager, with Vieira, I truly felt like we could build with him, and we could build with him for the long term. And I don't want to sign a manager for him to stay for a year or two and then afterwards leave. Now, I don't know exactly why he has left these clubs, and I can't give you the answer for that because I haven't looked into it in much depth yet. Because so far with Paulo Fonseca, the reports that's been coming out is that we're just linked with him. There's nothing that's been significant about him, whether, you know, he's going to join Palace or not. It's just that Palace are interested. But if those reports get serious, then I guess it'll be worth looking at. But yeah, that's just my slight concern. Well, let me know what you guys think, because managers nowadays, they don't stay at football clubs consistently. They just don't. They change. Is it a case of that? If I look at other managers, maybe I see similar trends. But then again, that was the main concern for me about Paulo Fonseca. It's just the fact that he just loves the change. He loves the change, and I just know that if he joins Palace, that'll be in the back of my mind. If things go wrong, or if another club comes for him, does that mean he's just gonna walk out the door once again? But look, the report doesn't say he's on the verge of joining, just like Adi Hatta, but it does say he's been a contender, and he's been mentioned before. I remember he was mentioned before we actually hired Vieira, and we couldn't get him then. So I wonder if things have changed now, or if it's a case of similar to Adi Hatta, people are just playing games behind the scenes, trying to get a move for his client, potentially agent. Fonseca is the man I want. I hope this happens, says Henry. Gareth says, could be Potter. Stranger things have happened. Yeah, well, it's funny because Potter, literally, he's been mentioned with us like once or twice, and rightly so, because he's out on, you know, enjoying his break. He just literally absolutely destroyed Chelsea, built Palace up to a stage where, you know, he destroyed Chelsea to a stage that Palace are only like 3 points behind them, and we could technically go above them because they're not playing a league game until following week. So we've got 2 more games ahead of them. And then he joins Palace, and Palace finish above Chelsea. Maybe that could happen. But look, with Potter, I guess it will take time. I guess we'll have to wait until basically summertime, because I don't think he's joining a club anytime soon. And maybe them talks have happened. Maybe Potter just wants to wait a bit longer. But with Potter, I haven't heard anything regarding it in terms of reports, potentially about Potter joining a Palace. But, you know, he was also linked with Leicester, and it seemed like he didn't want to go there as well. So I guess it's a case of just waiting it out and varying his options at the end. But some of you guys don't want Potter. Let me know what you guys think about the Potter situation anyways. I would want him at Palace. I know not everyone is a fan of Potter, and I think this is my assumption, those who are not happy about Graham Potter is because of what happened at Chelsea. Because let's be honest, at Brighton, even when we faced their side, yes, they didn't beat us that many times, but they absolutely destroyed us. They did destroy us, and it was under Graham Potter. And there's a reason why he did go to Chelsea. Even at the start of the season, Brighton were doing relatively well. They were doing well. And if you're talking about clubs at similar level to us, you know, Brighton and Palace, similar level. So I would happily take Graham Potter. He's proven in the Premier League. He's a decent manager. He's shown that. Maybe he took a step up to Chelsea a bit too soon. But that's also another positive, because I doubt another big club would come for him anytime soon. So, you know, that could be like a long-term project. But with Potter, it seemed like it takes a bit of time. It takes a bit of time to bed in his approach. So I guess we'll need a bit of patience. But I'm willing to, you know, ride it out if it's a case of, you know, Potter wants to commit to us. But then again, nothing has come out, so I don't want to talk much about Potter. Klopp will be available as well. Liverpool, that's literally another conversation for another day, because they're shambles as well. They're literally being linked with players saying that afterwards they've been linked with Conor Gallagher. That's just that. I can't lie, for a Liverpool fan, if I was a Liverpool fan, I'll be absolutely fuming if you need midfielders and you get Conor Gallagher. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but damn, like, they're just not backing Jurgen Klopp. But look, if you guys have enjoyed the show, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I said it won't go for too long, but every time I say that, it literally goes on for half an hour. Look, let us know what you guys think about the Potter, not the Potter, about the Adi Hutter situation. I see Parish speaking about it. What do you think is going on behind the scenes? Is it Hutter's camp just trying to stir things up? And also Matt Doherty, would you want him at Palace? I'm saying stay away, keep away from Crystal Palace. That's how I see in a Matt Doherty situation. I would not want him at Palace as a right back option. Also, Paulo Fonseca, would you be happy with him joining Palace after seeing, he's rarely commits to a club for long term? But yeah, that's it from me. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. And before you go, make sure to check out the opposition preview after this. It just got released earlier on today. The link is in the pinned comment section, so you can go check that out. But until next time, up the Palace.